I thought I was traveling through the world of One Punch Chapter 10. The Vest Venerable's injuries were very serious, and it was a miracle that he was still alive. Does Providence want this to put everything to rest? For a brief moment, Wuxiao could only pray that the Vest Venerable would have a great life and be able to resist this blow. At this moment, no one noticed that a certain figure riding a bicycle shed a few drops of sweat and accelerated the pace of pedaling. Justice Rush. With a bright and clear voice, a self-propelled bicycle sped and hit the flying segment with precision, bending his waist, forming a bow shape, and sliding out of the long string of distances. Chapter 16. The Death of the Flying Segment. The man in the car wore a green helmet with a tense expression, wearing a black tights and light brown protective gear, and was the first hero of the C-Class, an undocumented knight. Just now on the road, he met the Vest Black Hole and others, and heard that the Vest Venerable was in danger, so he went to the mall without thinking. As long as he can help a little, even a little favor, he will not let it go. What are you doing, dead rats, one after another to obstruct me, then you will die in his place. Fei Duan was so angry that his face deformed, and he raised his sharp claws, wanting to kill the undocumented knight instantly. However, due to excessive blood loss, the movement was stiff and slow, and at the moment when it was about to swing over, Wuxiao had already come over and knocked the stunned undocumented knight off the bicycle with his shoulder, and rolled sideways for several laps before stopping. The undocumented knight rushed to support at this time, which Wuxiao did not expect at all. Zombies are honestly in the coffin, you should stop. Successfully saving the person, Wuxiao turned around and took the knife, and slashed hard at Fei Duan's eyes. Poof! The latter had time to dodge in a hurry, unable to even speak, and the oil ran out of lamps, almost reaching the limit. With this knife, the bleeding speed of the flying section was further accelerated, and his vision was plunged into endless darkness, embarrassed like a bereaved dog. His whole body moved more and more slowly, his body shrank and trembled, and the skin of those parts not covered by the outer bone shell was already shriveled and wrinkled, obviously caused by a lack of moisture. Win. The undocumented knight half sat on the ground, apprehensive, shedding a drop of cold sweat. He understood that this strange man was a very terrifying existence, otherwise he would not have let the Vest Venerable fall into a bitter battle, or even almost die. Fei Duan covered his eyes and howled, kneeling on his legs, his voice hoarse as old age. In such a desperate situation, he is still like a small strong, tenacious and immortal. During the stalemate, Wuxiao glanced sideways. Yes, this is a department store, then there must be combustibles, such as wine. Wuxiao rushed into the messy pile, with an attitude of trying, rummaging with both hands, and soon found several bottles of wine, many of which were broken. What are you looking for? I'll help. The undocumented knight supported the ground with one hand, stood up, and came to Wuxiao's side. Seeing the other party pick up 2 bottles of wine that were not broken, he immediately realized that Wuxiao wanted to burn this strange man. Abominable atheist, Lord Evil God will never let you go. Fei Duan can't feel anything now, blind and deaf, weak sense of touch, even what he said, whether he said it or not, he doesn't know. Undoubtedly very sad. Without knowing the face and without fluctuations, together with the undocumented knight, he poured bottle after bottle of found wine on Fei Duan's body. Finally took out an iron lighter. Goodbye. The finger pressed, the orange-yellow flame came out, Wuxiao indifferently spoke, aimed at the flying section and threw it over. Lord Evil God. Fei Duan's body was engulfed in raging flames in a blink of an eye, bathed in it. With his degraded sense of touch, he could not feel the burning pain, but only a little warmth, and thought that the evil god saved him, and the warmth brought by him was like brain confusion. And hallucinations were produced in his consciousness. What a miserable end. The undocumented knight's goggles glowed with flames and sighed in a low voice. Turning his head to look at Wuxiao next to him, this person seems to be on the hero forum, the more controversial B-class hero chopping knife-slashing man. Others have a very ambiguous evaluation of him, not bad, not good. In a sense, his heroic career is actually quite active, but he didn't expect that he could actually help the S-class heroes, which is really powerful. Like himself, he can only hope for dust. Wuxiao's eyes stared ahead. Not long after, the flying section was burned into a charred body. There was no movement, the dead could not die again, sure enough, even if it was an immortal body. There was a limit. What surprised him was that after defeating the flying segment, he obtained up to 3 skill points, which was equivalent to a dragon-level weirdo. Fei Duan's physical performance is actually not very strong, and it is necessary to combine the blood of the Forbidden Death division to reach the dragon-level. But unfortunately in the face of Wuxiao, he has no chance to use it. Then again, how Fei Duan can become a weirdo is generally absolutely impossible, unless he eats weirdo cells. But the weirdo cell is the product of the Weirdo Association, how can it be related to Fei Duan? He is just a murderer, only religion and belief in his eyes. It is difficult to imagine that he took the initiative to find the weirdo to ask for that thing. Wouldn't it? In addition to the flying segment, there are other members of the Xiao organization, so arrange for him to do these things. Thinking of the attack on S-Hero, the two have an unclear relationship. The probability is not 0, the problem is what they want to do, and they do not hesitate to collude with weirdos. Unlimited monthly reading? Wuxiao frowned, lost in thought. You can let them come. Wow. Solve the kitchen knife slashing man, worthy of being a man who refuses to become an S-class hero, but unfortunately the monitoring is not recorded, if you upload your video to the website. Overnight fame is not a problem. Quote, no. I don't want to be remembered by weirdos. When the matter came to an end, Wuxiao touched out his mobile phone and dialed the number, and exchanged a few pleasantries. And the medical staff that Emperor Tong had found had already been waiting not far away, and under his contact, he rushed over at this time. The bespectacled female doctor with a long ponytail walked up to His Holiness the Vest and couldn't believe it. What a serious injury. Quote. She secretly glanced at Wuxiao, wondering if this person was stronger than the Vest Venerable. There must be an emergency treatment. The female doctor and several male nurses put on masks and medical gloves and prepared for a hemostatic operation on the spot. Seeing that they were about to take off the vest of His Holiness Vest, Wuxiao immediately shouted, "Don't take off his vest." Quote. Why? The female doctor turned her head and looked at Wuxiao puzzled. It's okay, don't take off his vest anyway. Wuxiao said seriously. He had an intuition that if he took off his vest, something bad would happen. Okay, the female doctor had to use a more conservative method, and it was no problem to do it quickly. Is there a hole in the chest? The heart seems to have been hit hard, it is actually beating tenaciously, it is really an incredible physical ability. The female doctor said in surprise, unconsciously nervous. She carefully injected a blood coagulant, and then bandaged it with a cotton cloth, and in the process of stretching the eyebrows of the Vest Venerable, the situation finally improved. Seeing this, the unlicensed knight breathed a sigh of relief, picked up his somewhat deformed bicycle, and did not plan to stay for a long time. Then goodbye, kitchen knife slashing man. Quote. There are other places where he is needed. Well, goodbye. Wuxiao nodded and signaled. What he was most concerned about now was the matter of the flying segment, like a fog, covering his eyes and not dissipating. And he couldn't find any clue. The medical team carried the hemostatic vest on a stretcher and into an ambulance to prepare for an important operation in the hospital. Before they left, Wuxiao emphasized once again that he should never take off his vest. Soon after, there was only one person left near the mall, and it was deserted. He glanced at the destroyed car borrowed from someone else, and sighed, "Sorry, uncle." Quote. Fortunately, Wuxiao has the insurance of the Heroes Association, and this kind of temporary requisition of citizens' transportation, due to the damage of the weirdo, can be reimbursed for compensate the uncle for a new car. Finally observing the black charcoal corpse of Faden for a moment, Wuxiao's eyes were deep, and he left the place. Chapter 17, Sexy Prisoners. Try, foo, result, false, catch, e. Chapter 18, Marine Park on the island. About this, we found some white clay at the site of the incident. Quote. Someone has been sent to the laboratory for testing, but no useful conclusions have been drawn. It is said that it is just ordinary clay. Probably left by some clay freak. The bearded man continued to explain, sighing. Hearing this, Wuxiao was silent for 5 or 6 seconds before he slowly spoke. I know. Quote. He closed his eyes, pinched the bridge of his nose, and then hung up the phone. If you hadn't encountered Fei Duan beforehand, just by the word clay, you might not have guessed for the rest of your life who attacked the sexy prisoner. Many keywords add up: flying segment, Xiao organization member, clay. It can only be him, the genius who uses detonating clay, Daedara. It is speculated from this that there is indeed more than one member of the Xiao organization in this world. Wuxiao said that it was strange, such a strong physical quality as a sexy prisoner, for no reason, he would never become a vegetative person because of a little injury. And there must be some reason for this. For example, illusion, Uchiha Itachi's monthly reading, in the illusion world, time, space and quality are controlled by him. The sexy prisoner is very likely to have been hit. In the worst case, all members of the organization exist in this world. And they are secretly brewing some conspiracy. Generally speaking, the ultimate goal of the Xiao organization is to use the power of the golem of the outer path to achieve infinite monthly reading, to plunge the world into beautiful illusions. Or to create a 10-tailed human pillar to intimidate others. But the premise is that in the original world, and gather the power of all the tailed beasts, is it possible that in this world, in addition to the members of the Xiao organization, even the tailed orc pillar power? Then why did they attack S-class heroes? What is the meaning? People can't figure it out. After thinking about it, instead of worrying about the Hero Association and S-class heroes, Wuxiao should hone himself more. As the saying goes, strong saves the world, weak develops obscenely. Wuxiao's current strength, at most, in some cases, can provide special help to the association, or act as a ghost card. As a traverser, he has a unique advantage. Because of this, he has to become stronger to confront the Xiao organization, and the things that those people will do, but they are more powerful ninjutsu than one, and they can't be perfunctory. With such a mood, Wuxiao took the car back home, encountered too many things, and was a little tired today. He bought a wooden throwing knife plate and wanted to hang it on the wall to practice and improve his abilities as soon as possible. As for the system, there are still 5 skill points left to unlock the next skill. 4. The throwing knife thrown out landed on the inner ring of the bullseye, making a dull sound, and the throw became more and more accurate at the end. Chapter 10 and 10/93 next chapter. End table of contents. Previous,